Hearing Shu Liqin's words, Isabella's tears suddenly flowed out. When Carden saw his fiancée and was so humiliated by his mother, he was a little bit overwhelmed. He hurriedly said, "Mom, marrying Isabella is the life of the two of us. As long as the two of us can live well, we don't want to care. There are so many. So don't worry about it too much. It's not too early. Can you just prepare for the wedding?" "That won't work." Shu Liqin looked at Isabella with disgust, and said contemptuously, "I am just mad in my heart. Since I was beaten to marry your dad, I have never suffered such a grievance. Why did it seem like we had climbed them up high? Your dad and I were waiting here early in the morning. Our relatives and friends also came early in the morning, but what about their home? Except for the bride, none of the others came. This is to look down on people and despise us after making it clear." Isabella quickly waved her hand and explained, "Auntie, you really misunderstood. My parents really didn't mean to look down on you. They were just a little angry, so they didn't come." Shu Liqin shouted coldly, "It's useless to talk so much to me. Getting married is an important matter in life. You are not an orphan without a father or mother. How can you attend the wedding by yourself? I grew up so much and I have never heard of my parents. Those who are still alive but do not come to the wedding will not only lose face when it spreads out, but it is also not lucky in itself." Speaking of this, Shu Liqin gritted her teeth and said, "Isabella, I'll leave it here today. If your parents don't come, I don't think this marriage needs to be carried forward." As soon as these words came out, Isabella almost collapsed. She finally relied on the help of Claire and Charlie to escape her parents' obstruction and came to the wedding. She thought that it would be worthwhile to marry Carden even if she turned her face with her family. She didn't expect that after she came, she realized that her husband's family still waiting for her. Claire couldn't see it at this time, and she said angrily, "Auntie, do you know how much Isabella has suffered and how much price she has paid for this engagement?" Shu Liqin raised her eyebrows and looked at Claire, and said, "You girl, don't know you, so I don't want to offend you, but there are some things we have to make sense. I married my daughter-in-law today and invited so many relatives. Friends came to join in, but the wife's house didn't even come out alone. Have you ever seen anyone doing things like this?" Claire hurriedly said, "Isn't this a special situation?" Isabella's parents really have a lot of opinions on this matter. Isabella also made a lot of determination to turn her face with her family to marry Carden. Shu Liqin curled her lips. "Oh, our family can't afford it. Let me tell you, when you get married, you must follow the old rules. If the bride's parents don't come, the marriage will not end. The King of Heaven and you come and talk to me. It's useless to say." Claire said angrily, "How can you do this?" Charlie stopped Claire at this time, looked at Shu Liqin and asked with a smile, "Okay, I don't think you should spend so much effort here to find various reasons. Everyone is an adult, so just say it straight. How can you agree to hold the wedding as usual when Isabella's parents are not here?" Shu Liqin smiled and said, "It's very simple. Our family is looking for a daughter-in-law. It is the right thing to do. But Isabella and her family are so poor. I can bear it for the happiness of my son. Her parents can't look down on people so much. I forbear them, but at this time, they shook face with me? In that case, let's just do business. How can we say that our family is a wealthy family with a net worth of tens of millions? If Isabella wants to marry us, she must bring a dowry of at least 10 million, otherwise it will be skipped." As soon as Isabella heard this, the good temper that she had tolerated for a long time was almost wiped out by the other party. She didn't expect that Shu Liqin, who had always been a troublemaker between herself and Carden, would even bite back at this time, pushing all the responsibility to her family. So she couldn't hide her anger and said, "Aunt Shu, if you had said that you didn't want to let me pass, then I would be begging you for nothing, but you said that you promised me to have a wedding with Carden. What does it mean to obstruct in every way?" Shu Liqin herself disagrees with her son marrying Isabella. But the reason why she agreed to hold this wedding was to take his responsibilities as cleanly as possible. Therefore, Isabella made her family faceless today and made her unable to lift head in front of relatives and friends. With this alone, he can stand on the moral high ground and refuse her to marry into the grandson family. This is also the representative of the smart parents in daily life. When wise parents and their children have some kind of dispute, they often try not to confess to them. If the decision is to resolutely and undoubtedly reject the child, if the child fails to pass this hurdle in the future, he will definitely blame her, and even hate her. But in another way, the effect is naturally much better. Now that she is on the moral high ground, even if her son Carden is dissatisfied, he can't express it. Because he has been put off by her now. If he is still desperate to defend Isabella at this time, then he is against the entire Sun family. Isabella's parents did not come, and all the people on the scene of Carden's marriage felt offended. That only son, Carden, absolutely couldn't bear it. Shu Likan was right. At this time, Carden felt extremely uncomfortable. He didn't even know what to do. If he follows the mother's words, then this marriage will definitely not be completed. If he doesn't speak, how can Isabella bear the pressure that he refers to? If you are facing Isabella, doesn't it mean you have slapped all your family in the face? Seeing Isabella's uncomfortable tears at this time, Claire felt very upset, but in this case, she didn't know what to say.